A very good evening. This is the Pngtv Live News Bulletin. I'm Belinda Cora. The sudden passing of the late PNG music icon, whose hit songs topped charts for years and still does today, has shocked the nation. Moses Tau, a name so familiar and one of the best entertainers in PNG music, has left his fans devastated after his sudden death yesterday, which was also his birthday. Since the announcement of the death of the late Moses Tau, tributes poured in today. Florida Gulaseni has this report.
It is with profound sorrow Moses Tau, also known as Moshanti to many, broke the hearts of many of his followers and fans as emotional posts and tributes went viral on social media and functions in the country. The singer, songwriter and performer was known as one of the best entertainers in the PNG music history and always had a way to engage with his followers during his performances. His hit songs, Hela Lo'une, Aito Pakapaka, Onokura and many more were songs that many sing along to today. Tributes were even posted by fans and friends from within the region, where his music remains popular amongst the locals. Joining his family in mourning his sudden passing was the Deputy Prime Minister Charles Abel, former musician himself from Wabo Knight's band of Alotau. During his speech at the inaugural 2018 PNG ICT Expo at the Stanley Hotel today, he spent a few minutes of his speech to pay tribute.
Our sorrow and condolences at the passing last night of a famous entertainer, someone that is close to many of us, including myself, and that is Moses Tau, that collapsed and passed away at the Lamana Hotel last night. And I just want to express my sorrow and condolences on behalf of the government to a fine character, someone that stood his ground despite many challenges and provided entertainment and fun to many Papua New Guinea.
Michael Somar and Lady Veronica's tribute reads, and I quote, "It is with sadness that I acknowledge on behalf of Lady Veronica and myself the passing of a popular singer and entertainer, the late Moses Tau. Moses Tau is among a group of artists who are well known not only in Papua New Guinea but in the Pacific for his unique voice and sometimes soulful music. I convey my sincere sorrows to his brother, Mr. Seri Hegame, and family in Barakau and Gaire villages. Moses was a PNG ambassador in his own right, and he would support anyone who asked for his help and was not afraid to reach out to the people across political and social divided. Moses was a deeply religious person with a gracious personality. He loved to please, his passing is premature, and his music and contribution to the entertainment industry will surely be missed." He sang, he wrote lyrics, and most of all, he entertained us. I salute you, Moses Tau, and thank you for bringing laughter and music into our lives. May you rest in peace. Minister for Lands and Physical Planning, Justin Tichenko, was one of the first to spread the message on social media and also pay tribute. Music artists like B. Red, George Telek, and musicians, including fans and people who Moses has had an impact on, shared pictures and messages of sympathy of their moments spent together. All in all, posts still continue to dominate social media feeds as the message spreads across the country of our great loss. He will always be remembered as an icon in the Papua New Guinean music industry, and his voice will live on in songs we will continue to hear. Meanwhile, Pngtv managed to get in touch with the late Moses Tau's family, who confirmed that the cause of his death has not been revealed yet and should be made available by tomorrow. And his late body is currently at the funeral home after it was taken early this morning to his home in Barakau. Florida Gulaseni, Pngtv Live.
There remains a firm need for journalists to better their interactions with the resource sector by continuing to question and investigate reports from all stakeholders, including government. This was the main focus of an opening speech by the Vice President of the PNG Chamber of Mines and Petroleum, Richard Kasman, today, when opening an interesting two-day workshop for media professionals. The workshop saw the attendance of public relations officers of the various mining projects in PNG, including reporters from the mainstream media. Mr. Kasman indicated that although the workshop by the PNG Chamber of Mining and Petroleum has been running for over 10 years, reporters can do more in writing effectively in reflecting efforts by the sector.
Speak to our people from the industry, develop strong relationships, and pick up the phone and talk to them. Otherwise, we're wasting our 2 days here. And challenge us in the industry and say, hey, Oil Search, this issue about social mapping, let's talk about it. Media, don't take yesterday's news and build tomorrow's news.
Mr. Kasman says writing about the industry and the various mining projects helps to inform Papua New Guineans who deserve to know facts relating to the industry's progress.
Keep those people that get the raw end of the stick, keep them in your mind when you ask those questions. A lot of what's happening, as a personal view, is politics and inter-party politics at play. But the price is being our landowners who feel very deprived, and justifiably so in many cases.
What remains vital also is that the media is able to challenge the industry with questions, and these resource operators must respond.
You challenge us. It's important that we respond and ask us questions outside of the press release that we do, because we are prepared to have that discourse. And the public, people of Papua New Guinea, deserve to know what's behind that.
The industry is also assessing itself and its standards.
We're fortunate that I think EITI and we are going through an assessment right now, whether and if we successful in this assessment this year in 2018, we'll become a full member of EITI. If we fail in our assessment, that's a possibility as well, then we need to reset ourselves, review our compliance, and work to get full enrollment next year.
The prolonged delay by the state in paying rentals for government departments has seen property managements take action. This morning saw public servants reluctant to enter Treasury office this morning after air conditioning and the elevator system was shut down. Kalagentanda with this report.
It is believed property management company 5D, who administer the Treasury building, commenced a shutdown of the air conditioning and elevators in response to the delayed payments of rentals by the government. Pngtv has been reliably informed that as of March this year, the state owes 5.4 million kina to No. 1 Super Limited, who own the building. Other government departments in rental arrears include Finance with 11.5 million kina, Health with 7.9 million kina, and Lands with 6.4 million kina. Overall, the state collectively owes over 39.6 million kina in office rentals to the Super Fund. The actions are just a start to an exercise to follow for government offices that have high arrears. So far, letters concerning the rental arrears have all been sent to Chief Secretary Isaac Lupari. When contacting Finance Secretary Dr. Ken Nangan this afternoon, he gave assurance that payments had been made today and things would return to normal. In regard to this, a payment was received by No. 1 Super, but the check is yet to be cleared by the banks. Kalagentanda, Pngtv Live.
Member for Medang, Brian Kremer, who is pushing to prevent telecommunication industry regulator NICTA from deactivating SIM cards, has welcomed the decision to extend the deadline for SIM card registration by government. Communications Minister Sem Basil yesterday announced another extension to the SIM card registration exercise to July 31st, 2018. Quentin Anaime with this report.
Brian Kramer had drafted documents to be filed yesterday afternoon to move an urgent application today. The application is to seek a further stay to prevent telecommunication industry regulator NICTA from deactivating SIM cards of 1.5 million Papua New Guineans. Following the decision to extend the SIM card registration exercise, Brian Kramer says there is now no urgency for him to file the application.
And so following the decision yesterday, there was no longer an urgency in the matter for me to file, so then I did not proceed with filing the court proceedings to obtain a further stay. Had I filed that application, then obviously the court would have said, well, the NICTA has now extended the deadline, so there's no longer urgency in the matter, so there was no purpose to obtain a stay.
Mr. Kramer points out that by the regulation, the decision to set the deadline for the SIM card registration lies with NICTA and not the minister.
Part of these proceedings, the grounds was to challenge the decision by NICTA to set the deadline, because the regulation states that only NICTA can set that deadline, not the minister. So while the NICTA has come out in the media and stated that the minister says no more deadlines, that's not the minister's decision.
The Medang MP is also pursuing the Supreme Court reference on the constitutionality of the regulation, and that is by imposing a SIM registration through a formal ID.
When the reality is 90% of Papua New Guineans, actually 98% of Papua New Guineans, don't even have a formal ID. So there's the issue of whether this regulation is even constitutional and violates the rights of every citizen. And then there's the other issue of SIM cards belong to those who purchase them. So this issue of that's their SIM card. So now you're imposing a regulation on something they own.
We will do everything in our power to register.
The extension of the deadline gives Mr. Kramer time to prepare proceedings to be presented before the Supreme Court to get the court's interpretation on whether this regulation is unconstitutional. Quintina Naime, Pngtv Live.
You're watching Pngtv Live News Bulletin. More after these messages. Welcome back. You're watching Pngtv Live News Bulletin. Star Mountain Plaza and MRDC officially opened and handed over the refurbished Hohola Police Station worth 500,000 kina today to the Hohola Police and the community. Managing Director for MRDC, Augustine Mano, says the project is a community investment with an aim to improve policing in our communities and to make it safe and sound for everyone. Florida Golaseni has this report.
The police station, located along Spring Garden Road on a higher ground to the left just at Hohola, is the Hohola Police Station, constructed in 1974. Today, with support from MRDC and Star Mountain, the opening of this refurbished building was an event well celebrated by the staff and the community. Worth 500,000 kina, works include a complete makeover inside and out, 3 printers, 7 desktop computers, 2 laptops complete with Microsoft Office Professional, antivirus softwares, 25 lockers, desks and chairs from SMPL. MRDC Managing Director Augustine Mano, when addressing the all present to witness the event, says both physical and visual security are important.
Business communities, what can we do to make a difference? So we decided to invest here because it is also the police that will host the important APEC, where you will have the gala dinner there, where all the presidents will come to the Hilton.
He further added that most times we hear big companies' investment in most of the projects, but for this one alone, it is significantly contributions from landowner companies, Petroleum Resource Kutubu, Mineral Resource Oktedi, and Mineral Resource Star Mountain.
If we run into a situation where government is struggling or where there are financial needs, all of us who have a responsibility, we contribute at our level where we can afford to make a difference to the society we live in. And Port Moresby is a modern city, and there is no excuse.
NCD Metropolitan Superintendent Pero Endrano thanked MRDC and Star Mountain for the initiative and challenged the Hohola Police to be thankful and step up in terms of providing best services to the people.
For us to enjoy peace and security, the citizen of this country and citizen of NCD must invest to benefit.
Andrano urged his policemen to engage in direct access from the street frontages and engagement with the public realm, for it is important in making the public and community comfortable in accessing the police station and interacting with the officers for a better and safer community. Florida Gulaseni, Pngtv Live.
Greater inclusion of women is a worthy investment for the future that is crucial in expanding prosperity in the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, or APEC region. That's the main focus for the two-day policy partnership on women and the economy meeting underway in Port Moresby as part of the APEC second senior officials meeting. Quintin Anaime reports.
Women inclusion and women economic empowerment has been placed at the front and center of the inclusive agenda that PNG is driving in 2018. During the opening remarks, PNG senior official to APEC, Lahui Ako, highlights women across the region continue to face many challenges that try to define the role of women.
It therefore means that with this vast array of issues ranging from traditional gender issues to the more emerging ones of digital disruption and the impact of climate change, our conversation must remain relevant and responsive to these shifts.
He adds it is encouraging to see the work currently pursued by the policy partnership on women and economy to address these issues.
You can be rest assured that Papua New Guinea will fully support all efforts, as we believe that any effort to integrate women into all economic and social areas is progress in all its forms.
He encouraged the participants from the APEC economies to work together by focusing on the real issues at hand during the discussions. The meeting aims to generate meaningful outcomes based on women's active participation in all levels of economic activities. These include decision-making, leadership, and governance, which will result in favorable and inclusive business and economic environment, which are essentials in achieving sustainable growth. Quintina Naime, Pngtv Live.
With the majority of Papua New Guineans living in rural areas, many will not see the short-term benefits of hosting APEC, but rather the long-term benefits. In his presentation at the APEC Study Center's Consortium Conference this week in Port Moresby, PNG researcher Eli Sotai reveals the long-term benefits of APEC will reach rural areas after a few years. Quintin Anaime reports.
Researcher Eli Sotai presented on the impact of APEC to rural communities and how APEC will contribute to PNG's development goals. From his research report, Sotai reveals many Papua New Guineans live in rural areas and are unable to benefit from the short-term benefits. He says the long-term benefits will reflect in the policies and mechanisms put in place during this APEC meeting and the connectivity and inclusiveness of the government.
The benefits will not be felt instantly. It will take years to implement, to come up with policy structures and reforms to implement those the necessary reforms that the benefits can be felt widely in Papua New Guineans.
Meantime, the presentations at the conference highlighted the aim of APEC, which is to bring economies in the region more closely integrated to realize open trade and investment policy. This looked at various aspects, including the negotiation of member economies of APEC at the Trans-Pacific Partnership and the growth of inequality and income levels across the region, which is an issue. Dr. Wok Lee from the Singapore APEC Studies Center presented on the relationship between immigration status and employment conditions of Indonesian migrant workers in Malaysia. He highlights PNG must look into the protection of PNG citizens that are working overseas, which include the seasonal workers.
I think that is an important role that the government can take. I think more broadly for APEC is to continue to take the high road in raising labor standards rather than the vicious cycle, or we call a race to the bottom, of countries competing for investment by reducing their labor standards.
Ken Walker from the APEC Business Advisory Committee says priority issue for APEC is having more inclusive growth, which leads to a lot of discussions on the trade agreements and structural reforms. The role of information technology and digitization is also vital in regional economic integration. Quintina Naime, Pngtv Live.
You're watching Pngtv Live News Bulletin. More after these messages. Welcome back. You're watching Pngtv Live News Bulletin. Over 500 local vendors have successfully created their bank accounts under the Bank Fair program initiated by UN Women together with NCDC under the implementation of a Safe City project. The program focused at 3 main markets in the nation's capital and has created a platform to help and inform local vendors on the importance of saving. Florida Golaseni reports.
Working closely with the market management and invited banks, UN Women Project Officer for Safe City Projects, Daisy Moses, says not many vendors are given the chance to banking and savings information. The platform created is to bring the services to where they are in terms of their services and products.
At the Safe City Project, we've graduated 519 of them in basic savings and budgeting. So, and the financial literacy training.
She adds the banks that are invited and successfully carrying out these projects at Boroko, Geru, and Koki Market are Me Bank, PML, Women in Business Microbank, Westpac, and BSP.
Formal ID identification documents, that is one of their key challenge. When they just come to the bank and people are vendors and buyers are, they are enthusiastic to open bank accounts, but then they don't have the required documents on hand.
Among the many that successfully opened their accounts under this initiative were 2 local vendors who say they have learnt a lot from the basic savings and budgeting lessons. One local vendor, Eru Poxy, says with bank accounts, they now have bigger and better things to look forward to in terms of managing their money.
Lodisla school ta solo sem mibla sabelo budgeting money na weblo usim na weblo pasime mibla sabeso.
Daisy further encouraged local vendors to come forward and use the opportunity they have and advised them not to limit their thinking and activities to what they are doing. The program is stationed at the 3 main city markets in Boroko, Geru, and Koki during the week, and banking agencies are willing to assist in any way possible. Florida Gulaseni, Pngtv Live.
We now end our bulletin with a tribute video to PNG's very own Moses Tau, known by his close friends as Moshanti. The late musician passed away yesterday in Port Moresby and lives behind shattered friends, fans, and supporters. From myself and the news team, it's good night.
Dunia aiko